What is up, everyone? Welcome in here to the MLB DFS live show, the Quick Pitch live show here on Better Sports Network and Fantasy Alarm. I got Adam Ronis with me. We are filling in for your usual hosts, John and Pemma and James Grande, both out today. But I got Ronis with me. What's up, man?
Yeah, I mean, again, these guys taking off left and right. I don't know what's going on with that. There's no excuse they should be here. But hey, we're here to help out on a thrilling night. 3-game slate with totals all below 8. I mean, what's better than this?
I know. I just got done doing the Better Sports betting show with Fensty as the co-host there, and we're talking NBA draft. And now we got to switch gears to this MLB talk with only 3 games. And one of them is the Rays as massive favorites over the Royals. So we'll see what happens with that eventually. But obviously you see minus 350. I mean, just huge favorites. But then all 3 games overall, just lower scoring, low totals, right? So it's not a ton to get excited by. I mean, when you look at this slate, what's just your immediate takeaway? Obviously, the Rays as huge favorites is probably one.
Yeah, I mean, you actually have some pretty good pitchers on this slate. Too.
Yeah.
You know, you have Shane McClanahan going for Tampa Bay, and he's near the top of the favorites for the Cy Young Award. And I know myself and Howard Bender, we were in the FSGA props bet draft. We both agreed. We liked McClanahan, and we drafted him at plus 1,100 to win the AL Cy Young. So it's looking pretty good right now. Obviously, he's got to stay healthy. We saw towards the end of last year how he kind of got hurt down the stretch. But against this Royals lineup, you know, he's obviously going to be popular. You have a pretty good pitching duel as well with Miami and Pittsburgh. Braxton Garrett's been excellent lately. Mitch Keller started great, has slowed down a little bit. And then in Seattle and the Yankees, Domingo Germán was terrible his last start. His xERA is over 4. And Brian Wu, his numbers don't look great on the surface, but man, he's 37% strikeout rate. So that's why you're having these low totals. You also have an offense in Seattle that's really struggling. The Yankees have the worst WRC plus in the month of June. Yeah. So that's why you have those low totals. So, yeah, I mean, you don't expect a lot of offense on this slate, and you do have some pretty good pitching options. McClanahan obviously will be most popular, and I don't think salary is going to be a big factor here on this slate. I think you could pretty much do anything. So the key is, do you want to go with McClanahan? It's a 3-game slate. If you're playing in a tournament, obviously you want to be a little contrarian, but at the same time, you don't want to miss a performance by McClanahan where he goes 6 innings, gets 10 strikeouts, and gets a win. That could put you behind. So that's what makes it pretty interesting here. You do have some good pitchers, though, for, 3-game slate. I mean, you can make a case. Royals, obviously, bullpen game. But I think you can make a case for any of the other 5.
Okay, well, we'll get to pitchers in just a sec here. Just a quick updates for tonight's slate. The only weather concern we have, there's some light rain possibility for the Mariners-Yankees game up in New York, but I think that it seems like it's going to be light enough.
They'll be fine. Yeah, I mean, it's been
give us your on the ground report.
That's right. Let me look out my window. It's cloudy, so we're good to go. Yeah, I think let me just check briefly because the problem is this weather changes because I like to go for my daily walk, so I have to look at the weather, and it's right now it's saying cloudy conditions will continue for the rest of the day. Wind gusts are up to 18 miles per hour. So yeah, we're good to go. They're going to play it. It doesn't look like there's any rain right now.
All right. So then, no other concerns with the other 2 games, both in domes. So we don't have to worry about those. All right. Let's get to some of our top pitchers for tonight. And you mentioned there's only 3 games to choose from, only 5 starters because we do have that bullpen game with the Royals. So, it's McClanahan, obviously, at the top. Is he just kind of like on DraftKings where you have to start 2? Is he just your plug and play first pitcher for this short slate where a lot of people are going to be playing him?
Yeah, it's hard not to. Again, if you want to be different, I could see going with 2 others, but he's getting a ton of swings and misses. He's got several good pitches, including that slider. 27.2% strikeout rate. The only thing with him, sometimes the walk rate, it's over 9%. So that could elevate the pitch count and maybe push him to only 5 or 6 innings. But he's been also great at home, as have the Rays. He's 5-0 at home with a 1.64 ERA. Royals have just been abysmal offensively. I mean, they're just as bad as Oakland right now. You know, everyone was making fun of Oakland and saying, oh, they're horrendous, but Kansas City has just been as bad, if not worse. And they have the 4th most strikeouts and 8th worst slugging percentage against left-handed pitching. So it's hard not to go with McClanahan here unless you just want to be completely contrarian and you're playing in a GPP and you go, you know what? Everyone's going to play him. Maybe he has a mediocre performance. Maybe he doesn't get the win. So if you're going to think like that, sure. I mean, again, you're 3 games here. So if you're looking to be different. But if you're playing cash or you're going to do multiple lineups, I think you want to have McClanahan in there.
Yeah, and if you watched the Better Sports Betting show that I was just on, I gave out the Rays, run line as a pick, but I also gave McClanahan to get a win at -140 on DraftKings as a good prop there because, yeah, you mentioned his strong home numbers, 5-0 at home, the 1.64 ERA at home. You mentioned some of those other stats. I mean, the guy is just every time he's at home, he's basically unhittable. Only allowing like one runner here and there. But yeah, by the way, we have a comment here to Prince on FanDuel. McClanahan, for one start, one pitcher, obviously on FanDuel, is he? We can get to some of these guys in a sec, but is it hard to fade him on FanDuel?
I think again, if you're playing in a tournament, I think you can. You want to be different, right? In case he has a mediocre start, doesn't get the win. So I think you can there.
Okay.
Because, again, I think there's a couple other good options as well.
Yeah, well, let's get to those here. So we got Mitch Keller, Braxton Garrett as 2 of those other guys going against each other in that Pirates-Marlins game. Which of those 2 guys do you like the best, or do you want to play both of them in the same lineup?
I like Braxton Garrett. I think the overall numbers for the season are very misleading because he had a start against Atlanta where he got absolutely destroyed. I think it was like 11 runs, 14 hits where they left him in. So, obviously – that's going to inflate your numbers for the entire season. But if you look over like the last month and a half, he's 1st in Sierra, 2nd in WHIP, 0.87. His strikeout rate's over 30%. His ERA is 2.13. His last 5 starts, 21 2/3, 15 hits, 3 walks, 30 strikeouts, an xFIP of 1.66. Pirates, I know, are decent against lefties, but their lineup has really fallen apart. They've lost 9 games in a row. Garrett's at home. I really like him. I've been playing a strikeout prop a lot. I think it's 5.5. I guess the only risk with him sometimes is a guy that they're cautious of and they don't put him. They don't let him go deep into games. So he's kind of 6 innings is basically his ceiling right now. So that's then again, every pitcher is, right? I mean, at this point,
at this point, yeah.
But you look at his last few starts: 6 innings, 5 1/3, 5 1/3. But the strikeouts 8, 9, 6, and 7. And then the one start before that was in Colorado where he didn't get bombed. He wasn't great. Only 3 strikeouts, but 5 innings, 6 hits, 2 runs. So I like what I'm seeing from him. And and he's cheaper than Keller. So I would go with Garrett. And I think the other guy that I like for really cheap is Wu from Seattle. Yeah. He's just been really good lately. Well, not really. I mean, the strikeout rate, 37% strikeout rate. First game of the year was the one he didn't get there. 7 Ks against the Angels, not against the White Sox. Yankees don't strike out a ton, but they have been terrible in the month of June, especially against right-handed pitching. 210 lately with the worst WRC plus in the month of June. So I think you can go with him. He's really cheap. That'll save you money. Like if you can go Wu McClanahan. I think that's a good combo. You can go Wu and Garrett if you want to fade McClanahan, or if you're putting in multiple lineups. But yeah, Wu is just the overall numbers don't look good. So I don't know if I think most people are savvy, but some people might look like, 7.3 over ERA. Nah. Oh, the Yankees on the road. Nah. But we all know this Yankees lineup is just not that great. And, he did go over 5 innings. His last start, that's the pitch counts have gone up 81, 91 last outing. So if really cheap, I think you can consider him.
Yeah, he's had 17 and 25 DraftKings points in the last 2 starts without getting a win on either one. And I like the Mariners to win tonight. I took them on the money line and think they can get it done. But Wu, I mean, you were going through it. So yeah, he had that one bad outing to start his in his MLB debut. It was against the Rangers, so we can kind of write that off. But he's been decent in his last 2 starts, and he's got a 2.60 expected ERA this year, and a high BABIP, low left on base rate. So I think there's some positive regression coming to that 7.30 ERA for sure. And you mentioned the Yankees offense just being abysmal against right-handed pitching in this month of June, with Aaron Judge on the shelf still. They are, the worst WOBA over the past couple weeks, among the bottom 5 offenses in multiple categories against righties. So I think Wu is definitely a good target here, and he's definitely a good candidate to get a win possibly, because the Seattle bullpen is a lot better than the Yankees bullpen too, to kind of hold down a win if you're comparing him against Domingo Germán to one of those to get the win tonight. So yeah, I think Wu is definitely a good value arm tonight. Going back to Keller though, are you worried about him, or is it just the price on DraftKings? 9,900 compared to, you mentioned Garrett at 7,900. That's huge difference for those two guys for probably a similar outing tonight.
Yeah, that's my concern, is the price. I mean, Keller's had a great year.
Yeah.
He's always been someone that is tantalizing because of his talent and just hasn't been able to put it together. And he has this year: 28.3% strikeout rate, 6.8% walk rate, not allowing hard contact, although we have seen him struggle a little bit lately. But still, overall, it's been a really good year for Keller. Marlins have been pretty good lately. But yeah, the walks have started to creep up a little bit for Keller. He's got 9 walks in his last 17 and a third innings and 15 strikeouts, where I was playing as prop consistently. If you look in the month of May, he had at least 8 strikeouts in every start he made. He went at least 6 innings in 5 of those 6 starts. But in June, a very concerning start against Oakland, 5 and a third, 8 hits, 5 runs, 4 walks, and 1 K. I don't know what happened there. He rebounded against the Mets, as everyone does, and then he had 7 Ks in 7 innings. And then his last start on the road in Milwaukee was, 4 runs, 3 walks, 7 Ks. So I don't know if it's fatigue or what it is, but he has slowed down a little bit. He's fine, but I just don't like the price. I feel like you either go up to McClanahan or you can go down to Braxton Garrett. So for me, it's the price tonight with Keller.
Gotcha. By the way, if you haven't already, go get the All-Pro subscription at fantasyalarm.com. You can use promo code MLB50. You can see it scrolling on the bottom of the screen right now. But MLB50, the promo code, gets you the 50% off the first 6 months for the All-Pro subscription. You can get all of the MLB DFS playbooks, DFS playbooks for every sport that we're got covered, PGA Tour, UFC playbooks on the weekends, NASCAR, everything. So any sport that's going on, we got you guys covered with the DFS side of things, and plenty of other premium content over at Fantasy Alarm that you can get. The draft guide, you can get that for free over at Fantasy Alarm. But definitely get the All-Pro subscription there. Switching gears to the offensive side of things. And by the way, if you guys have any comments, questions, definitely hit us up in the chat here. Tweet at us, anything. We'll definitely help you get prepared for tonight's MLB DFS slate and build some winning lineups on DraftKings or FanDuel. We're looking at the DraftKings side of things, but just because of the layout here for us. But, we'll definitely help you with FanDuel as well. Looking at offensive side of things for tonight, we're just looking at lineups. First off, the big news: Wander Franco out of the Rays lineup tonight, so that's notable. We have Vidal Brujan getting the start.
Did you see real quick? Did you see the reason why on Franco?
No, what happened?
So Kevin Cash said that Franco's not in the lineup tonight, and at least Friday, stemming from the way he handles his frustrations and not being a better teammate. He stressed Franco is a good kid, and they will work with him to improve. So
wow,
I don't know why you make that public. I mean, this kind of reminds me of the whole
Right?
Tyler O'Neill thing in St. Louis with Ali Marmol, and we see. I mean, I don't even know if the guy's hurt or what. I mean, he hasn't played in a long time, but kind of weird to even mention that, especially with the Rays playing so great.
Yeah, I did notice that Franco was hitting below 200 over the last week or two. So obviously he's going through some struggles, but yeah, for the manager to kind of call him out like that, very interesting. So maybe some drama building, but yeah, maybe it could be a good thing to just for Franco to wake up and take accountability. I know I feel like we've seen that with different players over the years. You mentioned O'Neill, but other guys that they could either respond positively or negatively. We'll see. But with the Rays, we got Vidal Brujan betting 9th in that order, playing 2nd. Taylor Walls is starting at short, betting 6th. And Luke Raley now moves up to 2nd in that Rays lineup. So interesting moves there. Let's start with catcher. Not a ton of options here at catcher. Who are some of your top plays, your value plays here at the catcher spot?
This is brutal tonight, man.
It is pretty bad.
I would probably just go with Mejia, right? He's the cheapest.
Yeah.
It's in the Rays lineup. We're not asking a lot out of him. He's had a couple decent games recently when he's been in there. Obviously, the numbers for the season aren't great. Most expensive is Salvador Perez, but do you really want to spend that against McClanahan and then the Rays bullpen? So I'm probably just going to take the cheapest guy in Mejia. I mean, did we get the Pittsburgh lineup yet? I don't know what's going on. They still have not released the lineup. No. What is going on with them?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
So, I mean, I'd probably just go Mejia. He's hitting 8th. Maybe if Walls and Siri get on in front of him, he can get an RBI. Maybe he could pop one over the fence. So I'm probably going to just go with Mejia here.
Yeah, there's no way, I'm fading Perez at that price against McClanahan. I know he's hitting 3rd and it's juicy, but there's no way I'm paying $5,300 for that. So, I like the Mejia call. We'll see with the Pirates lineup because both those guys, Delay or Hedges, are both very cheap. So we'll see. Maybe one of those guys gets, if they're up higher in the order, but probably not. I'd rather just go Mejia. You can, the Rays stack might be a popular one on this slate. So a lot of our top plays might be Rays related. Going on to first base, I think, Yandy Diaz, Luke Raley will be top plays. Raley hitting 2nd is interesting. So by the way, the Royals bullpen game, it looks like they're going to have a lefty come in as like the 2nd guy behind Quas as the opener, right? Is that what you're saying?
I think so. So that does, bring into concern some of these lefties then for the Rays. But, Raley will obviously get the righty in the 1st inning. Then what happens the 2nd time? So I guess that is a little bit of a concern. Because you have to take that into account. It's a small slate. You don't want to start Raley. He gets one at bat. Diaz is not hit for power anymore. I don't know what happened to this guy. We all talked about his launch angle, and I was like, damn, man, I can't believe I didn't get him in fantasy because I thought he was one of the, obviously early season breakouts because he's always been good from an average on-base perspective, but I was like, he just doesn't hit for power. But all of a sudden, he's not hitting the ball in the air anymore. He has no home runs in the month of June. In fact, he has not hit a home run since May 26th. So it's been almost a month. He's still productive because you don't have to worry about him getting pinch hit for. He hits the top of the lineup. He has the ability to score multiple runs, but we haven't seen the power lately. I also think at first base, and I know he's 2,800 on FanDuel, Anthony Rizzo is kind of interesting. I know he's been struggling lately, but it is still Yankee Stadium. He's going up against a right-handed pitcher. Rizzo has great numbers at home, 923 OPS at Yankee Stadium. 8 of his 11 home runs are at home. 15 of his 22 extra base hits at home. So, most of the production at home. So, I think he's a decent option, especially on FanDuel at 2,800. But I think we're probably going to look at the Rays guys. Ford has done nothing lately. I know it's Yankee Stadium and maybe he can pop one, but I don't see it. So I think you're going to look at Diaz, Raley, and Rizzo. Maybe France. I mean, France not too bad to get it if you're on the Seattle side. You think Seattle's going to win tonight. I wouldn't be surprised by that either. Again, and I think people are going to be off Seattle because they have just been abysmal, and the Yankees too have been beating up on them. I know France hasn't been great this year overall, but he's been decent lately. So I think he could be in play as well if you're going to go with maybe a Seattle stack.
Yeah, he's another guy that his power has not totally been there lately. So, but the Luke Raley, Yandy Diaz, I think will be the popular picks. My favorite is probably Raley too. I think that him batting 2nd is huge here because he's going to face a righty in the 1st inning. We'll see what how the pen shakes out for the Royals, but I feel like anybody who's back there is not really worried about this Rays offense, no matter if they're going with a lefty or a righty. So, I still think Rayleigh will get. I don't think they'll pull him, in the 5th inning or anything like that. So I think we'll get enough at bats there. For moving on to second base here, Gleyber Torres and Luis Arias are the top guys. Very expensive for both those guys. There's a ton of value here, though. Who's your favorite play and maybe your favorite value here?
I think Arias has to be up there. I mean, this guy is just amazing right now. Not ideal for fantasy because not a lot of power, but he has 3 games this month of 5 hits. Just unbelievable right now. Yeah, I mean, because he just doesn't strike out at all. He makes contact. He's rare in today's game of baseball for what he does. So going up against Mitch Keller, I don't even know if the pitchers matter anymore with him.
I like when he's against a righty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so. 5.2% strikeout rate, just insane. 7.2% walk rate. And he doesn't hit the ball hard at all, but it doesn't matter at this point. So I think you could consider him. And I think Samad Taylor is interesting if you want to save some money. Okay. I know it's McClanahan, right? So, but he's got some speed. Maybe he gets a hit, steals a base. I don't think a lot of people will play him because of the matchup. So I think he's not bad if you're looking to save some money. Brujan, I know is really cheap, but he sucks, man. He's done nothing. And I think with
I like him because he's 2,100. And
I understand that. I understand.
He gives you that revert, the wraparound stack. So
I could see him being pinch hit for though late in the game.
True.
I don't know what they're going to do with Franco. Are they going to completely give him the day off? I don't know, but he just hasn't been good, man. He's not selective at the plate. 411 OPS. I know it's only 33 at bats, so I understand the price is cheap, but I can't go there tonight.
That's fair. On this small slate, by the way, you got to get different somewhere. So if Brujan or you mentioned Samad Taylor is the way to do it, then why not? Looking at third base now, Isaac Paredes is the top guy there at 4,300. John Birdie batting 6th for the Marlins at 4,000. Where are you going with the top end at third base, or are you going with the value play? Michael Garcia is the name I got circled for if you want to play him at third or short. I mean, the guy's been on fire lately, and I know it's against McClanahan, but I'm fine with like a one-off for the Royals if you want to go that route.
Yeah, I'm fine with Garcia too. He would be my value guy here. He's a guy that I was actually looking at in the preseason when I was doing my draft champions leagues. I did pick him up in my home league, but wound up dropping him. But he has been excellent lately, and he's going to hit leadoff too. So, yeah, he'll get a couple of bats against McClanahan, but maybe he gets a hit, steals a base, scores a run. So I think you could definitely consider him if you're looking to save money, and you could do it at either third or short. Paredes, though, seems to be like the best shot right now here. He's not too expensive. He's going to hit cleanup. He's got the ability to hit the long ball. So, if they do bring in a lefty second time around, that would be great. So, he's got a couple home runs in his last 6 games. So I think he's got to be the top guy here.
All right. By the way, we got a comment in the chat here from Mark Pitts saying all 3 of Brian Woo's home runs allowed to lefties this year. So that you were saying Anthony Rizzo could be an option there in that lineup. What other lefties we got in the Yankees lineup now that we're talking about that?
We got we got Rizzo, Billy, McKinney. That is it. What are they doing? They have 2 lefties in the lineup tonight.
Wow. We'll get to outfield, but McKinney hitting 6th. He's 2,400 on FanDuel.
Yeah, he had a home run yesterday.
Wow. All right. So that supports the Rizzo play if you want to go that route with Woo, but not a ton of lefties to kill on Woo. Maybe that helps out Woo to be a better value pitcher, right?
Yeah, definitely.
All right. So then, any other third base besides Paredes, or you want to move on to short?
Yeah, I think Paredes, Garcia.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at right now.
All right. And moving on to short there, we do have on DraftKings, we do have Michael Garcia being an option there. Probably will be a popular shortstop play just because of the lack of options here for short. where are you going at shortstop?
Yeah, probably Garcia.
Don't get too excited, Ronis.
I'm okay actually being a little contrarian and paying up for Witt. I know it's McClanahan, but it is against the lefty. He is sitting second. He's been okay lately, but we know he has the ability to hit one over the wall. He can steal bases. So I'm okay if you can afford it being a little different. I don't think a lot of people are going to go there, but I think Garcia is probably someone that I'm going to plug in there just to save the money, and he's hitting leadoff, and maybe he gets a couple cracks at the bullpen. I know the bullpen – actually, Tampa's bullpen has not been good this year, statistically. They haven't been good.
Yeah, the bullpen has been surprisingly not good for Tampa, so could be a spot to target. Yeah, I like the leadoff there for Garcia. All right, then go on over to shortstop here, or outfield rather. By the way, there's no Tampa shortstop available to play on DraftKings here. Guys at different position eligibility, so just keep that in mind if you're looking for a Tampa stack. Outfield here, Randy Rosarina, definitely one of the top plays tonight for Tampa. Giancarlo Stanton is there at 5,300. Jorge Soler, Julio Rodriguez for sure, another top play. You're looking at some of these top guys for outfield.
Yes, I think a Rosarina for sure is, even though he's very expensive. If you're going to think the Tampa offense goes off tonight, he's got to be there. 2 homers in the last 5 games. He's capable of giving you 20-25 DK points. I like Julio Rodriguez tonight. I think he's starting to play better. I think many people think he's a disappointment this year just because in fantasy where he was drafted top 3, the average hasn't been good, but he has 5 hits his last 5 games, including 2 games, multiple hits, 4 steals as well in that span. And he's been better against righties over the last month. A WOBA of 342 and 203 ISO against righties over the last month. So we saw Herman get bombed last time out, and the xERA is over 4. So I like Julio Rodriguez tonight. And I think if you want to go really cheap too, I like Jesus Sanchez at 2,600. I mentioned about Keller not being as good lately. Sanchez has power. He has a 500 slugging percentage. He's got some doubles lately, a 571 slugging percentage at home. And Keller has been hit lately. 3 home runs in the last 17 and a third. You like Sanchez better against the righty. So I think Sanchez could save you some money at 2,600. You mentioned McKinney as well. 2,400 with that short right field porch at Yankee Stadium. Another guy that you can look at on the low end.
Yeah, there's not a ton of really good values for outfield. Usually we get a few, but you mentioned Vidal Brujan is there, 2,100, also outfield eligible. If you want to go that route, stacking the Rays. Any other outfielders before we wrap up and give some of our our Call of Fame plays tonight?
Yeah, that's probably it. I like De La Cruz, but I like him better against left-handed pitching. Bader is not awful, but again, I prefer if it was not against Wu. Teoscar Hernandez. I know it's righty on righty, but I can see him hitting a home run tonight.
Okay. Maybe a home run call there for him. Yeah,
that's not going to be my home run call.
Oh, not your home call. Well, let's get to that. Our Call of Fame plays for tonight. So who is your home run call tonight?
Julio Rodriguez. I think this is the night for him to go deep. I like what I've seen from him lately. I think he's getting hot, so I like Julio Rodriguez to go yard tonight.
I got Yandy Diaz. You mentioned he's got that power drought right now, but I think he goes deep. He breaks it tonight because of the Royals bullpen game. Who you got for your top stack? I think we both agree on this one.
Yeah, it's got to be Tampa Bay. I know it's going to be popular, but they clearly have the biggest edge in pitching tonight, for sure, with the bullpen game with the Royals. The Royals pitching just is terrible overall, so they clearly have to be the biggest stack here, and I think the Vegas numbers reflect that.
Yeah, massive favorites there. Yeah, I took the Rays on the run line there because the money line was way too expensive, so I expect the offense to back up McClanahan there. Contrarian stack, what you got?
The Mariners, again, they have been ice cold, and Domingo Germán, though, we saw last time out, he wasn't good. Maybe he's not cheating anymore. You never know. Yankee pitchers get away with it. They tell them to wash their hands, and then they let them pitch. The Mets guys get suspended. I don't know how that works. But, Germán has been giving up some hard contact. Walk rate is up. So, again, Seattle's just been brutal. No one's going to want to play them. They just don't. They're like, oh, Seattle's not hitting. I could see Seattle coming through tonight. So I think I don't think people are going to stack Seattle. So I think they're the contrarian stack for me.
All right. I think the Pirates are a contrarian stack just because, you were mentioning how, we're high on Garrett, you are. And I just think he could potentially have a blow up against the Pirates offense that has really good numbers against lefties. I'm waiting to see their lineup, though.
It finally got released.
Oh, it finally is out. Okay.
Brian Hayes, Andrew McCutcheon's back, so he's kind of interesting against lefty. Connor Joe,
okay.
Carlos Santana, Rodolfo Castro, Jack Sawinski, Henry Davis, Bay, and Austin Hedges.
Did you mention Reynolds' name?
He is out once again.
He's out again? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, yeah, I still think they might be a contrarian.
They do have pretty much – they have 7 righties and 2 lefties. So they did load up against Braxton Garrett with all those righties.
Load up the righties there. All right, star of the night. I think you already mentioned one of your top plays tonight.
Yeah, Julio Rodriguez for me. I think he's the guy tonight.
Okay. I'm going Shane McClanahan. Definitely going to have a good outing against this Royals lineup. I'm fine paying up for him as your top pitcher. And then value play of the night.
Jesus Sanchez. I think there's a good chance he goes yard tonight.
Ooh, yeah. I got Michael Garcia. The guy's been just lights out. I love him as a cheap one-off against McClanahan. Especially if you just want to game stack mostly Royals Rays. I think that game, if any, has a chance to be a little higher scoring. I mean, this is kind of an ugly slate from a total standpoint. I wish we just had cores on the slate just to make it a little interesting, but we don't.
Yeah, got to go with what's in front of us, and sometimes we're handed. We tend to see this on Thursday. A lot of day games.
Yeah. Yesterday and today, a lot of day games, smaller slates. But we'll be back tomorrow. Appreciate everyone watching, and good luck with your MLB DFS lineups tonight. Me and Ronis will be back tomorrow, right, Ronis? Talking some more.
Yeah, we got a full slate.
Yeah, we got a full hour and a full slate to give you guys tomorrow at 5:00 Eastern on the MLB DFS live show. Appreciate everyone tuning in. Coming up next, we got the Lightning Round Fantasy Football Show, so stay tuned for that. Appreciate everyone tuning in here, and we'll see you tomorrow.